Okay, hello, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. Okay, first of all, thank you for joining our MBA open house at Penn State Harrisburg. My name is Orani Kawatnatachai. I am the director of the MBA program. Okay, let me introduce my colleagues. Mitchell, associate director um, of admission office. Mr. Mitchell Patterson, okay, has been with the admission office for a number of years now. Okay, he knows every graduate program, okay, at Penn State Harrisburg. Okay, and Ms. Meg Kutz, okay, Meg has joined us this year, and her primary role is working with prospective MBA students. Okay, before coming to us, she worked at Anderson and various other companies. Okay, a little bit about myself. I have been at Penn State Harrisburg for about 17 years now. In addition to directing the MBA program, I also teach finance as well, and I am also a chartered financial analyst. So if you have any questions about finance, okay, in addition to MBA program, feel free to let us know as well. Okay. So what are we going to do is we are going to make a 15-minute presentation, okay, about our MBA program, and then we're going to take questions, okay? So feel free to send in your questions during our presentation, okay? Before I start, a little bit of good news. For those of you who join us, okay, all of you will receive an application fee waive of $65, okay? For those of you who pre-register, Mitchell will send email to you on the instruction how to get the application fee waived shortly. Okay. For those of you who did not pre-register, please type your name and address in the chat box. Okay, or send email to Mitchell. Okay, so he will take care of your application fee waive as well. So his email address will also appear in chat box shortly. Okay, let's just kind of go pull the technical stuff together and we'll be ready in 1 second. Okay, so thank you once again for those who just joined us. Okay, this is the MBA open house at Penn State Harrisburg. Okay, and my name is Orani Tawat Nantashai. I am the director of the MBA program at Penn State Harrisburg. Okay, so let me introduce my colleagues now. Okay, so Mr. Mitchell Patterson, okay, he is associate director of the admission office. Okay, Mitchell has been with the admission office for more than 15 years, I guess. 10 years. I'm sorry, I got the number wrong.
That's okay.
Definitely, he knows every graduate program that Penn State has to offer. Okay. Meg Kutz, okay, Meg has joined us this year, okay, and worked primarily with prospective students. Before coming to us, she worked at Anderson and various other companies, okay. A little bit about myself, okay, I have been with the university for 17 years, okay. In addition to overseeing the MBA program, I also teach finance, okay. I am also a chartered financial analyst as well. So if you have questions about CFA or any finance questions, so feel free to ask questions as well, okay? So what are we going to do is we are going to do a 15-minute presentation about our program, okay? And then we'll take questions. So in the meantime, feel free to send any questions in during the presentation. Okay. Our slides are up now.
Yes. That's like just a recording that I'm seeing, a delayed recording.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So before I start, a little bit of good news. Okay. All of you will receive an application fee waive of $65. Okay. For those of you who pre-register, Mitchell will email you the instructions shortly. Okay. But for those of you who did not pre-register, so please type your name in the chat box. Okay. Or send email to Mitchell. So his email address will also appear in the chat box shortly. Okay. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's, before we start the presentation, so let me give you our contact information, okay? After this presentation, so if you have further questions, feel free to send them to either Meg or me or our central address, okay? mbahbg@psu.edu, okay? We will respond, okay, within 24 hours. So let me start the presentation, okay, with Penn State University, okay. So for those of you who do not know Penn State, okay, so Penn State is a complex institution. It has many colleges and campuses, okay. All of us get to share resources, okay. So our library and technology are state of the art, okay. Our alumni network is one of the top of the nation. Okay? So let me narrow down into Penn State Harrisburg. Okay, so Penn State Harrisburg is one of the unique colleges in Penn State. Okay, it has 5 schools together: School of Business, School of Behavioral Science and Education, School of Humanities, School of Public Affairs, and School of Science, Engineering, and Technology. We offer more than 30 master degrees. Okay, this unique characteristic provides advantages to our students. Okay, so if MBA students want to take classes outside school business, they have opportunity to do so. For example, MBA students with engineering background want to take a few classes from engineering courses. They can do so from the School of Engineering. Right? So let me narrow down further. Okay, for school business, okay, we offer 3 master degrees. MBA for sure, Master of Science in Information System, and Master of Accounting online. Okay, we have about 800 students. This does not count freshmen and sophomore. Okay, all of our programs are accredited by ASCSB. Okay, and as some of you may know, that ASCSB is the highest accreditation that any school business can earn. Okay, less than 5% of school business worldwide are accredited by ASCSB. Okay, accreditation ensures quality of teaching and learning, faculty resources, and faculty qualifications. Specifically for our MBA program, what do we offer? Okay, our curriculum is designed for students who seek, okay, managerial, okay, and upper level position in industry or government. Okay, our curriculum emphasizes holistic view of business and global perspective. Okay, what we do is we train our students to look at problems from 360 degrees. Okay, our curriculum start from functional areas of business and wrap up with capstone course. Our MBA curriculum is also customized to student background and career goals. Okay, we do not want students to take classes that they have already learned before. We also want students to take classes that benefit their career goals as well. I will give you a few examples shortly. Our MBA is also flexible. Okay, you can be part-time or full-time. There are some afternoon classes. Okay, majority of classes are still in the evening. Most of our classes are resident. Okay, but we offer a few online classes each semester as well. Okay, our class is very small. Most classes are between 15 to 20 students. Okay, and we cap it at 30. Okay, and we believe in interaction between faculty and students. Okay. For our curriculum, okay, every student is required to take 30 credits. Okay, that's what we call the MBA core. Okay, and 30 credits, 21 are prescribed, and 9 credits are elective. Okay. We have some flexibility on the prescribed courses, okay, and most of flexibilities come in terms of electives, okay. For electives, okay, we encourage students to think about their career goals, okay, and choose electives that would fit to their career goals. For example, if someone wants to work in supply chain area, okay, we recommend them to take more supply chain classes. Okay. Then for those of students who do not have business background, okay, they are required to take up to 18 credits. Okay. But this is the area that definitely we want to look at student one by one, okay, because we do not want students to take classes that they took before, okay. Let's take a look at the prescribed courses, okay. So these are the 21 credits of the prescribed courses, okay. I mentioned a little bit about the flexibility, okay. If someone come in with accounting background, too many accounting courses, work in the accounting field, okay, definitely we will not have them take accounting 540, okay. We'll work with them to substitute with an accounting elective or even finance course, okay. I want to highlight Business 510, Business Analytics, okay. This course will be the future of the business, okay. Everybody since start working in analytics part now, okay. Eventually it will be the core of every company, okay. And this class is very in high demand, okay. So as you can see that we have classes from different functional areas, okay, and then our students wrap it up with Business 588, okay, which is strategic management. On the electives, okay, lots of flexibility here, okay. Student can focus classes in any particular field, okay, and we offer accounting field, business analytics, finance, healthcare administration, information system, supply chain management, strategic leadership, and innovation. That also include HR courses as well. Okay, so if you focus in any particular areas, we call that tracks. Okay, or if you don't like to focus your electives in any particular area, okay, you can sample courses from different areas as well. That's what we call general business. Okay, or what you can do is you can create your own customization as well. Okay, I mentioned earlier about engineering courses. Okay, we have some of our MBA students who want to take more engineering courses. Okay, so he wants to do 3 engineering courses. We allow him to do that. Okay, because those courses support his career goals, and we count that those 3 courses toward MBA electives. Okay, that would be the part of the customization that he does. Okay, healthcare administration used to be customization. Okay, but it gets very popular, so we make it standardized one. Okay, and healthcare courses are not offered by school business. They are offered by school public policy. Okay, this is an example of the uniqueness of the Penn State Harrisburg that I mentioned earlier. Okay, let me give you some examples of our MBA electives. Okay, so these are examples of the MBA electives. Okay, we rotate our electives, okay, every semester so that students get a variety of choices. Okay. Or if you don't like electives that we offer, what are options that you have? Okay, we have lots of options. Okay, as mentioned earlier, that we want to work with students and make sure what they take, especially electives, would enhance their career goals. Okay, one thing I want to touch on is independent study. Okay, what is it? Okay, you work with one-on-one with faculty member. Okay, on topics that interest you. Okay? What we like to do is to ask students to think of challenges that they have at that company, okay, and they need help on that, okay. Let us know your challenges, okay. We will partner you with faculty, okay. Faculty will help you shape your study. At the end, you get solution for your challenges. You take back the solution to the company, okay, and you get credit for class, okay. We have many successful stories of independent study, and this is a win-win situation for both companies and students, and also for us as well. Okay, I encourage you to visit our website and read some of those stories about the independent study. Okay, some of you might like to write a master paper. You can do that as well. That will count as part of your elective. Okay, I already mentioned electives from other schools, public administration, healthcare administration, engineering, and some of the students even take some training classes from education as well. Okay. Our curriculum also emphasize global perspectives. Okay, so each year we offer 2 international study tour courses, which can be counted toward your elective. Okay, the trip is during spring break for 10 days. Okay, these are the countries that we have been to. Okay, if you participate in the trip, the school will give support up to 2,000. Pretty much what you need to come up is your own airfare. Okay, the rest will be paid by school. Okay, and there are some minimum criteria that you have to meet. Okay, for example, you have to have good academics standing. I mentioned earlier on the MBA core that everyone is required to take. Okay, for those of you who do not have business background, they also need to take up to 18 credits. Okay, what are foundation courses? Okay, so these are 6 foundation courses. The way we do is we look at your background, your transcript. Okay, anything that you took before and done well, definitely we will not ask you to take again. Okay. For example, if you took statistics course before and done fine, okay, then in that case, we'll waive you out from Business 505. Okay. So as mentioned before, we do not want our students to take classes that they already know. Okay. And these foundation courses can be taken with prescribed courses as well. You do not have to complete all this before you start core courses. Now, getting into admission, okay? How do we evaluate an application? The key question for us is whether a student will be successful in the program or not, okay? So if the answer is yes, we would like to work with them, okay? What we look for is evidence on basic analytical skills, writing skills, and communication skills, okay? We do not teach the basic skills, but we teach students how to apply those skills in business. Okay, so that's why we need the basic skills for students to come in. So what we look for is we look for these skills, the evidence from specific courses from transcript and GMAT score. Okay. I also want to mention that when we evaluate any application, we don't look for any specific number from any specific score. We evaluate overall portfolio of students. For example, someone come in with 10 plus years of good work experience. In that case, we don't even look into GMAT score, okay? But someone come in with no experience. In that case, the GPA or the GMAT must stand out. For some of you, we have good news, okay? If you meet any of these categories, okay, you can request for GMAT waiver, okay? We have done an extensive study, and we are confident that students who are in one of these categories, okay, have a very high success rate in our program, okay? To request for GMAT waiver, simply send a copy of your transcript and resume to us. We will review and let you know within a few days. Dates to remember. Our program accepts applications in fall, spring, and summer. So these are deadlines, and for international students, your deadlines are earlier because the university needs time to process your I-20. Okay. Let me wrap up here before I take your questions. Okay, so what does the MBA program at Penn State Harrisburg offer? Okay, so our program emphasizes global perspective. Okay, that's why we provide financial support for international travel. Okay, our curriculum is customized to student background and career goals. Okay, our program is flexible. You can be part-time, you can be full-time. We offer some day classes. We have some night classes. Okay, definitely our program is quality. Okay, our program is accredited by ACSB, the highest accreditation that any business school can earn. Okay, let me end with contact information. Okay, so Meg is the main person. Okay, and we have our school website address. Okay, the phone number is there, the email. Okay. If you like to visit our class, so feel free to let us know, okay? And shortly, we will put a link to our brochure in the chat box, okay? Or you can visit our school website as well. invite Meg and Mitchell, okay, to come in and help us answer questions that you may have.
Mhm.
Okay, Meg and Mitchell?
Well, I would like to propose something.
Sure.
Dr. Orney, thank you for taking this morning out with this morning chat about the MBA program. Can you talk a little bit about where students are going with earning prestige of a Penn State degree, in particular the MBA here at Penn State Harrisburg? Where are the industries and what are they doing with the degree itself?
Well, majority of our students are working professional. Okay, they are employed by big corporations in this area. Okay, and some of many companies are also the global companies as well. For example, Hershey, TE Connectivity, Phoenix Contact. Okay, so these students come in. Okay, they're ready to move to the next level. Okay, so lots of them also have engineering background in science, so they want some business skills, okay, so that they can be promoted to the next level. Okay, so lots of students are in that category. Okay, and we have some students who want to change their career as well. Okay, someone might start out with, for example, in education, they want to go more into supply chain area. So in that case, those students need to retrain themselves before they can enter workforce. Okay, so we have some of the students in that category as well.
So is there a different credit count where for those who have a business background, you've explained quite eloquently about the 30 credit count, core classes, flexibility within electives. How about, again, someone that doesn't have a business background? My example, I'm a poli-sci, was a political science undergraduate degree student. What's the added coursework that I would need in terms of prerequisites before moving into the program? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for non-business student, if you never taken any business classes before, including statistics, okay, in that case, you might be required to take not only 30, but also another 18 credits, foundation courses. Okay, so in that case, the maximum number of credits that you would take would be 48 credits. Okay, so that would be the extreme example. Right. Okay, but with that 48 credits, you're going to learn a whole lot because you come from the different background. You will see the other side, okay, of the coin. Right. Okay. Absolutely. Like for example, I give you myself as an example. I start out with a pharmacy degree. So when I come into business, definitely I was required to take everything because I never done those before. Right. Okay. Right. But I learned so much because science trained you one way, right? And lots of science training would be black and white. But in business, it's not quite black and white. Okay. You have arguments always in between. So one is train you to get the rationale, always the same rationale, black and white, versus the other, you train to have analytical thinking and to see different perspective, different viewpoints on that. Okay, so it might take you a little bit longer than someone who already have the business background, but definitely the incremental gain is there.
Is there a time frame that we're working under in terms of earning the MBA with those who have a business background versus those that are not?
Let me tell you, the majority of our students graduate within 2 years and 1 semester. Okay. Given that they work in full time and they come to school part time, so they take 6 credits per semester. Okay, and they still graduate within 2 years and 1 semester. Okay, that's a big achievement for them. Okay, so what we do is we offer classes not only in fall and spring, and we also offer classes in summer as well. Okay, and as Meg knows that we map our schedule 2 years in advance. So in that case, definitely you can plan out your schedule 2 years in advance, so you know what to take in fall, what to take in spring, what to take in summer. Okay. To your questions is that how long does it take for you to graduate, depending on the number of credits, okay? But definitely if you keep taking classes every semester, okay, you definitely graduate within 3 years. I'm talking about part-time student.
Wow,
Okay.
that's great.
For full-time student, if you take between 9 credits per semester, 12 credits per semester, okay, you can even graduate within a year on that.
Wow.
Because for the 30 credits, you can do 12 credits in fall, 12 credits in spring, and then 6 credits in summer, right? So that would be 30 credits. Okay.
Indeed.
Or if you go not taking summer classes, then you can go another semester in fall, and then you're done in 3 semesters.
Would you consider that as an accelerated program? I know there's a lot of MBA programs that promote themselves as such. Is that considered accelerated for Penn State Harrisburg?
No, we don't consider that. We want to provide full instruction for students. Okay. But our program is unique in the sense that we not going to ask students to take something that they already had before. Okay, like a business student, they take some stat class before, they have some basic accounting before. So in that case, they come in, we're not going to ask them to take the foundation courses,
Right.
unless they did not do well. Then in that case, unfortunately, they would have to retake. But that is at the graduate level, though. Okay, so for those students, they come in, they would get the core of the MBA. Okay, so even though it's fast, but then it's not a shortcut.
Right.
Okay, accelerated, as you said, for some programs there.
Okay.
Okay. For those without business background, then they need a little bit more time.
Sure.
On that.
Now, Jeff, can I ask a question about GPA? Because I know graduate school has a certain marker, if you will, that applicants are asked to have by way of undergraduate degree or post-baccalaureate degree studies. Give us an average GPA that one needs to have in applying for the program?
Very good questions. We don't have the minimum GPA cutoff,
right.
Okay, because we believe that, okay, whatever happened in the past, okay, you can fix it, but you can do something to make it better, okay? But let me give you the average of our students, okay? The average GPA of our students, okay, in terms of undergrad, is 3.25.
Okay.
Okay. But having said that, we work with every student who are motivated, okay, and know why they want that MBA, okay, what MBA going to help them to reach that goal, okay? We want to work with every one of them, okay? As I mentioned in the presentation, the way we evaluate application, we don't look at just one number, like a GPA.
Right.
And then we say in or out, okay?
Right.
We evaluate overall portfolio, okay? So student might do poorly during freshman and sophomore, okay? But they do better on junior and senior, okay? We want to give them credit on a junior and senior, and we want to see the trend going there, okay? So for example, they might get like a 2.0 in freshman and sophomore, okay? But then junior, senior, we see the trend like a 3.2, but then overall they're still below 3, right? So definitely we work with them, okay? But in that case, then we also want to see GMAT score to supplement for that. Okay, so do I answer your questions there?
Sure. Well, it ties into another question in terms of that's the academia or the academe side of applying in terms of performance test scores. Is there an average that I have to have in applying for the MBA program?
For us, we cut off as 450.
Okay.
Okay. But again, for students who we are confident that they're going to be successful in the program, okay, those categories that I showed you earlier, you don't even have to take GMAT score, okay, because we have other ways to evaluate. Okay. But for students that we cannot find the evidence what we look for, then we need a GMAT to kind of evaluate what we think on that.
Sure.
Then those would need to take GMAT. Okay. For example, who definitely need to take GMAT. Okay. Unfortunately, international students, we do not waive GMAT. Okay. So definitely, whoever we admit them and bring them here, we want them to be successful. In that case, we definitely want to absolutely make sure that they come in here, okay, they be able to do the writing, they be able to communicate, okay, and analyze the content, okay, that we provide them, okay? Because international students, we understand lots of hurdle for them to come here, okay? If we bring them here and then they're not successful, then what's the point? You're not adding any value at all.
Right.
So that's why we want to be careful in that sense. Then the GMAT waiver is a no for the international students because we need a second validation to tell us that they have the communication skill, the writing skill, and the analytical skill on them. Okay. Let me give you a little. Sorry. Like Meg and I work together a whole lot with many of the executives. Okay, they already advanced in their career. Okay, but they need a degree as well, and they want to improve in certain areas on that. Some of them want to improve on finance. Some of them want to improve on supply chain. That's why they're coming back to the MBA program. They're coming back to school. Okay. So for those students, definitely we waive GMAT for them. Okay. So we tell them that, hey, we know that you can be successful. So in that case, then we don't bother them to go and study and take GMAT.
Okay.
The relevance of them taking the GMAT really doesn't make sense. So we review their resume and their transcripts to determine really how relevant is it for them to take it at this point if they've had 20 plus years of work experience and an executive at a company. So Dr. Twetnant-Chip, can you talk through a little bit about really in our program, it's not a disadvantage to come in as an undergraduate, non-business major. I think from a networking perspective, you could talk to a little bit how coming in with a different undergrad degree actually adds a lot of value to the classroom and what that does for other students.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we don't restrict that our students that we admit would come from only one specific group. We want to have diversity because we believe that diversity will add richness to the classroom learning. Okay, so that's why in class, okay, we have executive. Okay, we have students in their mid-career. They have students that start their career, and they also have undergraduate students. Okay, who want to have MBA before they go out in the field as well. Right. So that's why in the classroom, everyone learns from everybody there. So that adds the diversity and richness to the teaching and learning. Okay, because like everyone has the strong point, right, that they can contribute to teaching and learning. Okay, like for example, like in terms of quantitative skill, right, the detail Excel, Word, those kind of things, mostly you would expect from those who fresh out from college, right? Because they just learn about it, all those modelings that they learn in class, right? But then executive, because they in the field for so long, right, some of those skills might be lacking for them. So if we team these two together, right, executive would learn the quantitative part from the undergraduate student who coming into the MBA program, and at the same time, the undergraduate student coming into the graduate program learn from the experience from executive as well, right? So in that case, it's a win-win situation from both of them.
Wow, right? That's great. Going back to the test scores, I don't want to belabor the point, but I know in working through all of our graduate school programs, some programs are flexible and admitting a GMAT or a GRE. Is there flexibility with the performance test score? Is it just GMAT for those who don't have some of the particulars that you just mentioned, but have taken the GRE? Would you accept that?
We accept the GRE as well. And GRE and GMAT can be convertible as well. So we have the tool to convert on that. Okay. So basically what we look for is we want to see evidence of writing, that they're capable of writing. Okay. We want to see that they be able to do analysis. Okay. In the communication. That's are the three main things that we look for. Okay. So it doesn't matter GMAT or GRE. We can look at that.
That's good to know. That's really good to know.
Okay. So would you like to talk about your experience about GMAT a little bit?
Sure.
I know that lots of students kind of get nervous about it.
Yes.
So
we have a lot of questions about GMAT. And again, I think Dr. Twetnant-Chip and myself try to really look through the relevance of the GMAT for students and if indeed them taking the GMAT is going to show and prove their success of them being able to do our program. We work with students, again, as I mentioned, we'll look at resume and transcripts, particularly their resume for someone that has many years of experience, to talk through, do they need to take the GMAT? And that's a conversation I think we have regularly. Students will email us information. We look through and talk through to really determine whether it makes sense or not for the student.
But a student who need to take GMAT, I think they should not be worried too much, okay? GMAT is only the test at the high school level, okay? But we kind of understand anytime you go for a test, it can be kind of a nerve-wracking for some of the students too, okay? And also because lots of things that we learn from high school, we might not use it every day, so we might forget about it, right? So in that case, then the strategy for students who need to take GMAT is to just simply practice, practice, and practice, okay, before you take the test, right? So when you always said that the quantity matters, right?
I think there's great resources out there for GMAT, and I think what we find is that it's all about the quantity. It's the number of test questions you take, and it's also about the conditions in which you practice. And we always recommend students take the test when they're practicing as if it's real, in terms of timing themselves, the number of questions they take, and actually doing it online versus just paper, because the test is online. So I think it's the conditions in which they do it. And again, as Dr. Twetnam mentioned, the math element is really just up to high school math. But if you haven't done that in a while, you forget. And so getting back, practice, and taking the quantity of questions really, I think, is what we find is the success for students.
And there are free materials out there now that you can load on your phone as well. Okay, lots of apps that give you a free test questions on that. And even from the GMAT website itself, you can get a free test questions as well. But as Meg said, you need to time yourself when you practice, and then you need to do it as you do the actual test. Basically, you need to practice this online, because lots of students, they can do it on a piece of paper, okay, and they can do it given them a limited time. But then for the real test, they start to freeze that when clock ticking, and then they have to do on the computer screen, because it's completely different for some students when they look at the paper and then they look on screen. So they have to do it, they have to practice it that way. So you practice, okay, you pretty much have a good indication what your score going to be, okay? And we're not asking for like a 700 score or anything like that. So we are reasonable. So the minimum cutoff is 450. Above that, we can work with students on that. And actually, you can test yourself too. And if you don't like the score, you just cancel on the spot. Because you can.
I wasn't aware of that.
Because it's a computer test. It's a computer test. So after you've done the test, then they give you the score. If you like it, then you just tell them where to send to. If you don't like it, you can just simply cancel. Okay, and that's the key, because if you get very low score, then you don't want to review your score, right? Then you want to cancel it, because if you send it, then all the schools will have the information on that. But that reminded me of one student that initially he took it and he get quite a low score, but then he started practicing more. On the second time that he took, the score jumped like a 300 points. Significantly.
That is significant.
So you can tell the difference between those who walk into the test hall versus those who practice on that. So talking about GMAT, why don't we talk about the scholarship a little bit? Okay, so you want to start with your Chandler Award?
Well, I could add in terms of the financial incentives that we have. For those who apply to graduate school here at Penn State Harrisburg, we have a merit-based scholarship of $1,000, and that's called the Chancellor's Award. The Chancellor's Award has an eligibility throughout all of our graduate degree programs, which are 30+ here at Penn State Harrisburg. all that's needed is for the program, once they've received your application, the person has been accepted, you're nominated. And we're pretty generous, I have to admit, as being one of the committee members and awarding the financial assistance for students who are applying to our graduate school. We understand the cost can sometimes be one of the biggest barriers. So we're really trying to eliminate, maybe not all of them, but as many barriers as we possibly can within the resources that we do afford our students here at Penn State Harrisburg. So that's just one of many things that we have on board. There's also graduate assistantships and teachers assistantships that exist within many of our corridors within our master's degree programs.
Yeah, that's just from the admission office, right?
Right. That's
So the
admissions.
MBA students, okay, we have different categories on the top of that as well, okay? So for students who coming in will become full-time students, you can also get support up to $4,000, okay, for your first year as well,
Right.
okay? But you have to be full-time, okay? For our current student, okay, cannot be the new student, but for current student, every year we have lots of scholarship, okay, for school business, okay, students, so they can apply additional scholarship on that as well.
Wow.
Okay, and don't forget
Sizable
that,
amount.
yeah, for the MBA students, if they travel abroad as part of their education, then they get 2,000. That's automatic as well. So they don't have to apply anything as long as they meet the condition, which is very minimal. Basically, they just have to maintain academic outstanding.
Right.
That's it. That's all.
Sure.
on
Sure. That's an important piece.
that.
That's definitely an important piece.
Yeah. Before we move on to a different topic, we have lots of students like Nick that they get their tuition support from their employers. Ray, you want to touch on that about the tuition delay?
We do. We have many of our students get tuition support from employers. And one of the great things is with our tuition delay plan, the only piece that the student needs to pay up front is actually the piece that they will be responsible for. With the tuition delay, we have the opportunity to delay the tuition for the student until after the semester. And usually within about 2 weeks after, the employer needs to pay the bill for the student. But what we're finding is the tuition delay piece really has been critical for a lot of our students. You know, as we're talking about tuition, it's a huge commitment time-wise to come back and get your MBA, but the financial piece is also there. And so to be able to allow the tuition delay with the companies, it's really been a huge benefit to our students. And, you know, what we try to do is really reach out to the companies locally and encourage them to reach out to their employees to have them utilize the tuition. And I think what we're finding is, you know, the numbers are growing there.
Yeah, so lots of students participate in the tuition delay plan.
Right.
So what they have to do is just simply submit a simple form, okay, that what is the part that the employer gonna help them pay, and what's the part that they're gonna have to be responsible on their own. So the semester starts, the bill comes, okay, the part that the employer going to reimburse them, eventually they don't have to pay that part up front. Okay, they just be responsible on the part that they would have to pay up front.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
and then on the part that the employer going to reimburse them, the university will wait until the end of the semester until they get the grade, and then they get reimbursed from the employer, and then they can just simply pay to the university. That has been very helpful.
That's a nice incentive.
Yeah, for the MBA student.
And really easy for the student. I mean, so many of the local companies through human resources, it's a simple form and it gets done kind of seamlessly. So.
Right. I have another particular question as it relates to support. You know, for the adult learner that has been out of school for a short period of time or for a number of years, is there a support system in terms of mentoring, if you will, that exists within our MBA programs? Because you know, it's a huge commitment. It can be scary. You know, it's one of those unknown variables in terms of returning to school to get this advanced standing degree. What types of supports that we have here for students that are embarking on the MBA?
Yeah, definitely. the first thing is definitely our faculty, okay, because we have such a small classroom.
Right.
So faculty knows every student, okay, that's number one. On the top of that, because faculty understand our students that they are working professional.
Right.
Many of them, and then come back to school. So they're willing to work with students. For example, if you have to travel for your business and you might miss some of the classes, let faculty know in advance, then the faculty will work with you what to do on that, okay? Then in terms of support, definitely you go to classroom, you see that lots of students in the same boat as you are, so you would feel much better,
Yes.
right? And students help a lot with each other on that, okay? From us, what we do is definitely every student come in, we like to know their condition, their career goals, their background, okay? So what we always advise them to do is that first semester, number one, go slow, okay? Don't
Let's
just
go slow.
simply
Let's go slow.
go slow instead of taking 9 credits. Okay, if you're working full time, we say no, definitely. The most we would suggest would be 6 credits.
2 classes.
Okay, 2 classes. Okay. And I would suggest even just take 1 class
To get started.
to get started.
Yeah.
Exactly,
And
and then you can speed up from there. Okay. Not only we suggest the student to slow down the first semester, we always work with them on the strategy as well. Okay. So I sit down with many students, especially the first semester. Okay, what is your strength? Okay, my strength is not in the quantitative, for example, because I haven't done the math part for 5-6 years now. So I start to get nervous to get into the quant part. I say, okay, that's understandable. So then find classes like a more like an analytical quantitative side instead of going into the quant classes.
Got it.
Okay, so would be starting with Business 515, which is business ethics, corporate governance, and law. Okay, that would be more like a discussions to get your feet wet. Okay, and then coming into the program. And once you become more confident, then now you can go into the other area that you need to work on.
That's an important piece.
Oh, definitely.
Creating a
And
healthy
on
formula.
on the top of that, definitely we work a whole lot with Learning Center as well. That if student need private tutor, okay, they can request, okay, on from the Learning Center as well. Okay, and most of MBA students, they are fine because they have a cohort. The class is pretty much quite small, so they do lots of group activities in class. So in that case, they get to know the classmate quite well. Okay, and they work together 15 weeks, so they be able to like rely on on each other. Okay, but from time to time, we get requests from students that they need extra help. Okay, for example, someone really need help on accounting. Okay, we be able to work with Learning Center to find some private tutor.
Mitchell, each student as well, based on their career goals, gets matched up with a faculty advisor. So when they join our program, they immediately have an advisor and someone that they can go to. And I think we find our students utilize that person all the way through. And if they have questions, they'll go right to them to figure out, are you the one who can answer it, or what's the best path to get that answer? So I think that relationship is critical to the success for the student.
That is critical. Wow.
One thing I want to add, and I did not mention during the presentation and last Q&A, is that at Penn State, student can do concurrent degree as well.
Right.
What is a concurrent degree? Okay, basically, student can pursue 2 degrees, okay, at the same time, and they will save credit. Okay, for example, let's say they want to do MBA and they want to do Master of Science in Information System. Okay, let's assume that they come in with the business background, so they're required to take only 30 credits. So the information system, that is another 30 credits. If they do 2 separately, they would have to do 60 credits. Okay, but if they do both of them concurrently, okay, they would save 20% of the credits. Basically, they would save 12 credits. So they would have to do only 48 instead of 60. Okay, but the key is you have to have good GPA before you apply for the second degree. So let's say you come in with the MBA, you do well, GPA cutoff is 3.5, then you can apply for the concurrent degree, okay? And you have to make your decision before, okay, you complete 75% of your credit on the first degree. Basically, the university wants you to do these 2 degrees at the same time, okay? But definitely they want to make sure that you will be able to handle both degrees at the same time as well, okay? Lots of students ask the questions, do they have, once they get approved for the concurrent degrees, do they have to complete both degrees at the same time? The answer is no. They don't have to complete both degrees at the same time. So they can apply for the MBA and then MSAS, okay? And then they said, well, let me complete MBA first, okay? They can do that. And then continue on to complete MSAS after that, okay? That can be done as well, okay? So anything else you'd like to cover for this presentation?
Dr. Twetman-Shea, can you just talk through, before you wrap up entirely, about why Penn State Harrisburg? A lot of the questions, we have students that come to us and say, I'm considering these 3 programs, but why Penn State Harrisburg? In your opinion, what are students that have graduated from our program telling you has been their biggest success?
Yeah, so definitely our program is not a big program, but we are not small program as well. We kind of medium size, okay? Why is that a great thing, okay? Because the medium size, okay, basically we can take care of every single student, okay? We can work on the customization, okay? That student come in, okay? We don't tell that all the 200 students take the same course, regardless of whatever your background is, whatever your career goals are, okay? So we can work with them one-on-one in that, okay? But it's also important that we are medium-sized, okay? Because if we're too small, what would happen? We cannot offer a variety of electives for our students, okay? So in this case, we do the rotation on electives, so we offer a variety of electives on them, okay? In addition to that, okay, I already mentioned about the global perspective that we emphasize in the support from the school business, okay? And we talk about the quality of the program with the ASDSB and the quality of the faculty as well, okay? But on the top of that, I want to give credit to our students as well, that our students are very quality, okay? They are motivated, they come to school, okay? They want to enhance their careers, okay? That's why they make decisions to come in, okay? To do more education so that they can move up the ladder or go into the industry that they want to do, okay? So in that case, they're very motivated, okay? And when you go to classroom and you're going to see the motivated peers, what are you going to do? It add the positive, right? And reinforcement to you. So it's kind of a push each other, okay, to reach the goal, okay? And more than that, because Penn State Harrisburg is very unique, okay? We are part of the big Penn State University, but we are the medium size, okay? What it allows us to do is it allows us to tap into the resources of the university, okay? The technology, all the databases, the library, the network, the career network, all those wonderful things, okay? But at the same time, because we are medium-sized, allow us to do a lot of flexibility. I already mentioned about that. You're a business student, but you can take class from engineering school. You can take class from education. You can take class from public affairs, okay? Not a whole lot of MBA programs allow you to do that, okay? But we can do that because we are Penn State Harrisburg, that allow us to cross among different schools. And each school that we work with, we work well together with that. So that is the uniqueness that we have.
Yes, that is unique. That's very, very unique.
And don't forget about the concurrent degrees. For those students that want to have MBA, okay, which allow you to move up the ladder, but some want any specific, like a information system there. so you can save 12 credit.
Mhm.
Okay. Lots of students mentioned that if they had known on the concurrent degree, definitely they would come to do the MBA here,
Right.
so that they get 2 degrees instead of 1. Okay, but once you really graduate, then that option is no longer
Mhm.
for you there.
Mhm.
So, any other questions from both ends?
We covered a lot.
Definitely. And I hope that
Honestly, yeah,
those would
yeah,
benefit
right.
the viewers and audience out there.
yeah. I think, again, Dr. O, I affectionately call you as Dr. O. Thank you for taking the time out, and Meg, also for joining us here in the Office of Admissions to talk about just the intricacies and the value of Penn State education, in particular as it relates to earning an MBA.
Okay, so thank you both of you as well for joining me and
Yeah.
accepting my pressure
And my pleasure too.
do the presentation today. And thank you all the folks out there. Okay, so and if you have further questions, feel free to contact us. Okay,
Yes.
give us a call, or if you'd like to visit our classes, feel free to let us know as well.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you once again.